Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another day in my life. Today's video is actually sponsored by Athletic Greens, and I'm going to be sharing their delicious and nutritious drink called AG1. I'm also going to share some food that I made lately, including some enchiladas that I had made in the freezer, this super yummy chicken teriyaki bowl, and some other treats. Also, so many of you guys liked it when I sat down and chatted with you in my last day in my life, so today I'm going to sit down and talk about how we like our new hometown after living here for 1 full year. And with all of that being said, let's hop right in. So I haven't shared this recipe yet, but on this day I made some candied pecans because you guys know those are some of my favorite nuts, and I used them to make these cookies, which include candied pecans, white chocolate chips, dates, and regular chocolate chips. And so I put a bunch in the fridge to ferment for 3 days, but I decided to make some on this day. And I also pulled out some chicken noodle soup that I had in the freezer and some homemade bone broth to bulk it back up, to give it just more broth. I find that usually when I pull soups out of the freezer, I have to re-add broth as they're cooking. So Logan and I love doing Pilates together, and he really likes picking which towel and which mat he wants to work out on. So I always let him have his choice. And legitimately, guys, he loves doing it with me. Like sometimes in the middle of the day, he'll just start shouting about how he wants to do Pilates. And I love this gentle 15-minute Pilates workout from Jessica Volant. It's super easy and gentle on my body. I will say, even though it's very gentle, I actually had a harder time doing this routine last summer. I would find that I was just still too weak, I guess, and it kind of flared up my back. But now that I've been just caring for my body, working on my strength, I find that this gentle Pilates is in fact gentle enough now for me, and I can do it, and I feel like I get a good workout, I don't injure myself, and I really enjoy just doing this with Logan, to be honest. It's really fun to not only get a great workout, but to do it with him too. I feel like I always used to watch videos of moms or see clips on Instagram of them doing workouts with their kids, and I just thought that was so sweet. So this has been a really sweet experience to have with Logan. And as you can see, he gets a little distracted, but I actually think that that's part of what makes it really fun and sweet. I will say a lot of you guys have been asking me questions about my pain levels and just how I've been feeling physically, and I am happy to report actually the same report I gave you guys last time, which is that I feel like I'm getting stronger and just healthier in general. My pain levels have been very reduced in the last couple of months, and I have theories and speculations as to why, but in general, I just feel like I've been on a steady path of feeling better for like the last 2 years, so I'm very grateful for that. So I'm bopping in this video in the kitchen, not only to make myself a drink, but also to share with you more about the sponsor of today's video, and that is the company Athletic Greens, and more specifically, their nutritional drink called AG1. Now, if you haven't heard about AG1. AG1 is a drink with 75 different vitamins and minerals and whole food sourced ingredients that are specifically designed to help support your energy, your gut health, your immune system, all of the things that we all want supported. So I've been using AG1 for support, not only in all of the areas that I mentioned, but really specifically for me, what it is that I wanna make sure I'm getting in like enough nutrition every day. So AG1 is really great to help support that. The drink has, I mean, like I said, a lot of different things in it, but some of those things include vitamin C, zinc, different kinds of mushrooms, and the drink also has 7.2 billion CFU dairy-free probiotics. I'm a big probiotic fan, so it's really awesome that that's in here as well. And maybe this is obvious because there are so many whole food sourced ingredients in this, but AG1 is full of antioxidants, which is not only great for supporting beauty, but antioxidants help to just fight free radicals that age us in a lot of different ways, like our memory, our skin, our hair. So Logan and I have made our way to the backyard. We spread back out our blanket. We try to get outside every day when we can, when it's sunny enough and the weather permits. So we're out here now. I have my AG1, and that's something I wanted to hit on really quickly too, is that this drink is so convenient. It's such a convenient way to get in your vitamins and minerals. And so I have like the full size drink that I keep at the house, but then also I have the AG1 travel packets. So if you're on the go, you can literally just bring a packet with you. You could bring like your empty water bottle, but you can just throw the packets in your bag. It's got like a pineapple kind of vanilla flavor that I really like to it. I will have the link down below, and they are giving away a free 1-year supply of immune boosting vitamin D and 5 free travel packets as well, which is the packets I was just talking about, the travel AG1 packets that are so convenient. So I'm gonna have athleticgreens.com/NikkiPhilippi linked down below if you guys wanna check it out. I feel like I've been holding the drink like this the whole time, but I want you to see how beautiful and vibrant and green it is. Yeah, you guys will have to let me know if you try it out. So thank you so much, Athletic Greens, for sponsoring this video. And yeah, once again, I'll have the link down below. So I decided on this day that I wanted to pull out of the freezer some taquitos that I had made. Maybe like a month ago, I shared this in a day in my life when we made our own homemade sourdough tortillas and then turned them into taquitos. And we didn't finish the whole batch, so I froze a bunch, but I decided on this day that I wanted to turn those taquitos into enchiladas. So I decided to make some homemade green enchilada sauce. Now this ended up being like a bigger ordeal than I thought it was gonna be, but still, it really wasn't that difficult. So I started off by, as you saw, blending up some green chili peppers, and then I threw in a pot some oil and some diced white onions. And then I threw in some crushed garlic, and I let the onions cook till they were kind of starting to go a little translucent. Then I threw in about 3 tablespoons of flour. So it's kind of like creating your own roux. It's just gonna thicken up the sauce. And then once I had stirred that in, I ended up stirring in some homemade chicken bone broth. Then I added in some cumin and I believe some other spices as well. This is yet another recipe that I was inspired to make from Pinterest. So as always, I'll say it again, check out my Pinterest if you want to see like where I'm getting a lot of my inspiration for different recipes. So once the sauce had had a chance to simmer and just like all the flavors meld together, I laid down all of my frozen taquitos in just a lasagna like glass dish with some sauce underneath as well as on top. And then I covered the pan with some foil and threw it in the oven to bake. And then I had to make some guacamole on the side. So I made it really simple, as I do nowadays, mostly because of Logan and partially because of ease. It was literally just chives, cilantro, tons of lime juice and salt, and it was delicious. And as you can see, the enchiladas turned out amazing, and I actually think they turned out better as enchiladas than just taquitos by themselves. Logan ended up eating half of an enchilada with some guacamole, chips, and grapes, and that was our lunch. And then for dessert, Logan and I actually split a little bowl of vanilla ice cream with some hemp seeds on top, which are amazing. If you're not on that bandwagon, run and get on it, and then some mini chocolate chips. All right, so Dan and I decided we wanted to make some chicken teriyaki bowls. So I started off by sauteing a ton of mushrooms and some white onions. Then I put some asparagus in the oven to roast with garlic powder, salt, and olive oil at 400 degrees for about 12-ish minutes. Dan cooked up the chicken on the stovetop, and he also cooked rice in the Instant Pot in some of our leftover homemade chicken bone broth. And then that was our chicken teriyaki bowl. He made his teriyaki sauce from scratch, by the way, which I did not film because he made it like 2 weeks ago, but it's so good. Hello! So I'm bebopping into this video again because I wanted to sit down and have a little chat with you guys. I inserted a chat in one of my other recent day in my life videos. And in that video, I was actually just talking all about my like diet, because I've gotten a lot of questions from you guys about, you know, how I eat now, how my eating has evolved. And I've talked a little bit more extensively about this topic over on my Patreon, but I had wanted to, or about that topic, I had wanted to address it more. And so today, this is also kind of a similar thing. I've talked a little bit more about this on Patreon, but I wanted to talk to you guys because I've still been getting this question a lot. And now this is my third time mentioning Patreon, but this question was totally asked by a patron, Monica Adrian. That's why I said that word weird. And she asked me how we're enjoying Idaho, how we're settling in. And then she also asked me how we got comfortable being in a new place, in a new town. And I think not only in a new place, but how we got comfortable in our new space, like our new home. And I've gotten a lot of messages from people that have moved over the last couple of years, because I feel like the last 2 years has been like the great shuffle. Like everybody's just kind of shuffling around. A lot of people have felt the way that we felt. They wanted to move to be closer to family. They wanted to move to a different state that kind of matched their lifestyle and their desires for their family more. And so I think that's why I've been getting asked this question a lot. And I will say this, Dan and I have now been, and Logan, we have now been in Idaho for a year as of like 3 weeks ago. We actually came to Idaho on my birthday of 2021. Like May 14th, we were on a plane to Idaho. So when we passed that year anniversary a couple of weeks ago, we were like, whoa, how crazy is that? Like, time flies. And I will say, when we first came out here, it was really rough. In a lot of ways, it was really relieving because we got to immediately be with my family again, and we were just more comfortable with being in this smaller town. But as the months let me back up. In general, though, we were dealing with a lot. You guys know we were very I was very emotional. For like my first 3 months of living here, I walked around like crying on and off all the time. It was really hard for me, just everything we were going through during that season of craziness. But I will say that every month, and really if I want to break it down, honestly, it's more like every week, I become more and more comfortable with my life and my home and my community here in Idaho. So I will say this first thing. If you are moving, if you are in a new town, I know that people don't want to hear this, but there is this element of like time, you know, fixing things, time healing things, time developing relationships. Time just unfolds and things get, you know, more comfortable the longer that you're there. And so I am so much more comfortable now. Like it's almost been broken down into chunks. Like I feel like I turned a corner maybe 3-4 months ago. And then I also feel like I turned a corner after I miscarried, because when I miscarried, as you guys know, if you watch all my videos, I really felt like it was a snap to life, like a wake-up call in terms of how I needed to treat my body and how my health needed to be taken care of. And so after I miscarried, I pretty much like, maybe I've said this to you guys, maybe I haven't, I have eaten out like 4 times, maybe, since I miscarried. And that's like including meals, like at other people's houses where I don't have any control over ingredients. And the purpose is obvious, right? I have a specific way that I'm trying to eat and care for my body. And it just felt like I said, like that was, for me personally, it felt like a wake-up call for how I needed to transform my lifestyle again and really go back as best I could to the way I was living prior to moving here. And that's hard when you move in general, right? Like it takes a while to set up a home. We have been here for a year, although not in our house for a year. We bought our house last September, and we weren't in, like, we didn't have the house because the woman who lived there needed to stay in for a few months. We didn't have the house till like November or something like that. And we ended up doing like crazy renovations, as you guys saw, for a few months before we actually moved in. And we didn't actually move in, I don't think, until January something. And so we're still settling in. That's the other thing. When we left Nashville, we didn't get to take a lot of stuff with us for a lot of different reasons, as I've mentioned. And so a lot of our house is still pretty bare. Some of you guys have actually asked me to make videos talking about like how I make my home cozy because it looks so cozy. And either it is more cozy than I realize. I mean, I'm cozy and comfy in it, but I also just feel like, I don't know, I film things in a way, like, you know, the whole reality versus like Instagram versus reality, like that type of thing. I feel like I film my house in a certain way, even though I am comfortable, but I feel like our house has so much like work left. So it's so not set up. Like my office right now is just, it looks like the room threw up on itself, like just stuff everywhere. And so, you know, we're still getting settled in. Now, one thing that I get asked a lot, because I have moved quite a few times, is how I develop relationships and make friends in new communities, or more specifically, how we found friends in this community. And I have to say there's a couple of different ways. One is through church. Even though Dan and I are not necessarily married to a church at this point, we're kind of still, I don't like this phrase, but like church shopping, just because we're really trying to figure out what we really want in a church and where we want to set up. But we have been somewhat plugged into a local church. And so we've made friends through the church. I've also made friends through the internet, you know, like I actually had some friends up here online before we even moved to town. That was part of how we knew about this area, was because I knew some people through the internet. You know, online, you kind of can think of it as like, it's like online dating, but you can think of it that way, like for friends. If you meet people through Instagram, sometimes people will tag their location in pictures, and you can literally like find people online that way that you seem to like vibe with, and you know, meet them online, whatever. That's what I did. And then we just have kind of consistently tried to meet up with people that we like and do, you know, occasional dinners here and there, and go to events in their life that we've been blessed enough to be invited to. I've been to a couple of baby showers, and I really tried to make sure that I was able to be there, because that's also part of how you start developing those relationships. You know, once again, we go back to time, right? Time has to pass. You have to have a couple birthday parties or baby showers, or even, you know, sad things, losses, to just develop those relationships. So you can't really rush it, but you can, you know, make some camaraderie, have some friends, you know, earlier on in a town if you want, if you really make an effort. I kind of just believe that generally, but that's the thing. It takes an effort of putting yourself out there and talking to people, and that's what we've been doing. I will say some of my favorite things about living in Idaho are, one, we are around a lot of like-minded people. There are a lot of Christians, believers that live up in this area, and that just bleeds into your everyday lifestyle, just your interactions with people. You know, I think it's really been a blessing to be around so many like-minded people that really care about family. You know, I've lived in other cities before, as you guys know, and it felt like, for example, that in certain cities, like kids are almost a nuisance. So we'll go back to my hometown, Los Angeles. That was very much a vibe that I would pick up on, was that kids were kind of like annoying and a nuisance. And, you know, if they came out to a restaurant, it was kind of annoying, right? I'm not going to say that I was annoyed, maybe a little bit because I didn't have kids, but not really, because I love kids. I see them as a blessing. But you sense that, right? And you don't see as many kids out and about. But like up here, you see so many kids out, like people with just large families. You'll go to a restaurant, there's always kids around. It's not weird to bring your kid with you. It's not weird if they're making noise. There's just this general family culture that exists in Idaho, that now, being a family, trying to grow our family, is something that I notice and appreciate even more. I mean, you guys know one of the things that I really, liked about Idaho, looking from the outside in, is how relaxed and open their homeschooling laws are. We are very excited at the thought of homeschooling. And in general, we would like to have the freedom to structure our kids' curriculum and education in the way that we want. And there are so many homeschoolers up here. And it's really cool. So even though we're still new to the community and we're just kind of plugging in and meeting people and developing those relationships, because we moved purposefully to an area with so many like-minded individuals, or at least that's what we thought before we came up, and it turned out to be true, it's making our day-to-day interactions just so pleasant and nice, and it's making it kind of easy, for lack of a better word, to find friends, because there are so many people that I want to hang out with, that I want to have, deep conversations with about faith, about what's going on in the world, about just all kinds of things. So yeah, I'm excited to get more set up. I don't know if you guys know this, but our garage is a 3-car garage. This is kind of a total subject change, but not really. We're still talking about Idaho and getting settled. But our garage is a 3-car garage, and the third garage, for the third car on the side, has already started being insulated, because the previous owner, she was going to build a room out there. And that's actually what we plan on doing as well. We want to convert that into an office, which will be really cool, because then our office will be on the opposite side of the house to where Logan sleeps, and God willing, any future children, or it'll be a guest room at that point when we leave that room. And that'll be really awesome, because Logan goes to bed pretty much at 7 p.m. every night. And so we always get a few hours at night alone. And we can't really hang out in our office right now. I can, but then I can only do computer work. I can't play the piano because Logan's room is right on the other side. And Dan, as you guys may or may not know / remember, Dan has a iRacing simulator. If you don't know what that is, he used to race NASCAR. He did the K&N Pro Series, and he learned how to race by using an iRacing simulator. And it's actually a serious thing, kind of like how pilots use flight simulation training. That's what the iRacing simulator is. It's a full-on rig, and that's how he learned how to drive. And the way that simulator is set up, on a side note, is it's all of the tracks around the US have been scanned, kind of by a little Roomba that goes across and scans it. And so when you're racing on this simulator, you can literally practice at tracks. So professional drivers, which he was one for a while, use the iRacing simulator to prep for races, to practice, to understand the fastest way around the track, to understand, just all of that stuff. But he can't do that, because as he's racing, even though it's headphones in his ears, it's there's loud, gear changings. The machine, makes kind of loud-ish noises. And so that'll be really exciting to get that set up, because I miss being able to have night time to go play music by myself. Or honestly, when I edit, I like playing the sound over my speakers. I don't like doing headphones, and I can't really do that once Logan's asleep, because he's right there. I can take it to my bedroom. So actually I take that back. I don't need to play a little dramatic violin. It's the world's tiniest violin, guys. So I can take the computer to my bedroom. But point being, isn't that how it goes when you're setting up a home? You're always excited for the next thing, I'm excited to hopefully acquire another couch in the next few months, because we have one couch, but we have 2 separate living room spaces. One is more just a relaxing hangout area, and one is in front of the fireplace with our TV above it. And so that would be exciting to, God willing, acquire another couch soon. And just lots of other things. We want a hutch for our kitchen living room area to store more things. I really want a bookshelf for Logan's room. I want a new toy display shelf like I had in his room in Nashville. But it's all going to take time. That's the thing. If you're not ready to drop scads of cash in your home, or you're not able to do that, which we're not able to do that right now, then you just have to be prepared to wait for either sales, or when you do have the money for something, or the right things. This is really what I want, the right things to pop up on Facebook Marketplace. I have found a couple of amazing things on there. And so now I always want to buy everything through there, because it feels like it's a thrill when you find it. You're I found it. And then the whole time you're all excited, is it still available? And then they get back to you, and you're waiting to find out. And then it is. And then you're it's available. And then you gotta coordinate it. And then you go and you're is it going to be what I hope? And then you see it. And then if it is, you're so excited. So that's really what I want. The desk that I have here is my favorite desk I've ever had in all my time on YouTube. I've never had a desk this nice. It's massive and beautiful. And that was on Facebook Marketplace. And so that's what I'm hoping, is more Facebook Marketplace finds. Let me know, by the way, your best Facebook Marketplace find, the best thing you found. I don't know why I just repeated that another way. Let me know in the comments. And let me know if you've made a move recently, and if you have any thoughts that you want to contribute, like what you did to really get comfortable in your home and your new community, how you met people, if you agree with the stuff I said, if you have video requests, anything and everything. And I will see you in the comments because I do read all of your guys' comments. So that's pretty much it for this blabbery section. The sun, like, since I've been filming, I actually filmed another video for Patreon out here a little bit ago. So there we go. But it was pouring rain, and then all the clouds moved and it was super sunny, and then the clouds came back and now it's like super dark. So hopefully this footage is tolerable. And with all of that being said, I'm actually going to go now because I'm going to film my first tea talk in over a year with my dad, and we're actually going to talk about faith, and I'm really excited for you guys to see him, get to know him in that way. And with all of that being said, I'm going to bebop out of here now. So yeah. So that is it for this video, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. Once again, thank you Athletic Greens for sponsoring this video. If you guys want to check them out, I will have their link down below. And with all of that being said, I will, God willing, see you guys back here soon with another new video. Bye.